If you've noticed that little bump forming at the base of your neck, that rounded curve that shows up in pictures and makes you think, wait, was that always there? Then stop scrolling, because today I'm sharing something very special. This isn't just another posture video. This is a simple, science-backed method inspired by Japan's oldest practicing doctor, someone who spent his entire life studying how the body ages, why these changes happen, and most importantly, how to reverse them at home without medication, without devices, and without expensive therapy. And the craziest part? People report improvement in as little as a few days when they do this consistently. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why neck humps form, how to fix them fast, and what to stop doing immediately if you want your spine to stay strong, youthful, and upright for years to come. A neck hump forms gradually over time, and most people don't even notice it developing until it shows up in photos or becomes uncomfortable. What many don't realize is that this hump is rarely caused by fat alone. In most cases, it's a combination of forward head posture, chronically tight upper back muscles, weak deep neck stabilizers, and years of alignment imbalance. When the head leans forward even 1 or 2 inches, the weight on the neck and upper spine multiplies dramatically, creating constant tension. The body reacts to this stress by tightening the surrounding muscles and building protective tissue in the area, which creates that noticeable bump. Forward head posture has become extremely common because of modern habits like using phones, laptops, and prolonged sitting. Our daily routines naturally encourage the head to shift forward and the shoulders to round, and over months and years, this becomes the new normal. But the important truth is that this condition is not permanent or fixed. The spine is flexible, the muscles can be retrained, and the tissues around the neck respond quickly to the right kind of movement. When you start correcting the muscle imbalances causing the hump, the body begins to reshape itself. Tight muscles, such as the upper trapezius and levator scapulae, loosen up. Weak muscles like the deep cervical flexors wake up and start supporting the head in its natural position again. The protective tissue around the hump softens as the pressure decreases. This is why people often see visible changes within a few weeks of consistent practice. Age doesn't matter as much as consistency. Japanese doctors have shown that even seniors in their 70 seconds, 80 seconds, and beyond can improve spinal alignment simply by releasing tension, strengthening the right muscles, and practicing healthier posture daily. Because the neck hump is mostly the body's response to stress and misalignment, once that stress is reduced, the body naturally returns to a more upright position. Improving your posture doesn't require painful stretching, intense workouts, or expensive therapy. Small daily habits like lengthening the neck, softening the shoulders, activating the shoulder blades, and correcting the head position begin changing the shape of the upper spine very quickly. The key is understanding that the hump is not a permanent deformity, but a reversible adaptation to posture habits. When you fix the habits, the hump reduces. When you teach your muscles the correct alignment, they begin holding the head in the right place without effort. The body is always trying to move toward balance and healing. All it needs is the proper guidance and repetition. This is why simple movements inspired by traditional Japanese posture medicine focus first on releasing tension, then strengthening what's weak, and finally restoring natural alignment. Once these 3 elements fall into place, the neck hump starts to diminish, mobility improves, pain reduces, and the entire upper body begins to feel lighter and more aligned again. Japanese posture methods are built on the idea that the body naturally wants to realign itself when you give it the right signals, and that fixing something like a neck hump doesn't require force or aggressive stretching. It requires gentle release, proper activation, and consistent lengthening. These methods have been used for generations because they work with the body's natural mechanics instead of fighting them. When addressing a neck hump, the first step in Japanese technique is always release. The muscles around the base of the neck often become tight, overworked, and glued together because of prolonged forward head posture. This tension locks the spine in a curved position. Simple techniques like gently massaging the area, smoothing the fascia downward with the hands, and relaxing the upper trapezius muscles allow the tissue to loosen. When the tissue softens, blood flow increases, stiffness reduces, and the neck becomes more mobile. This alone begins reducing the appearance of the hump because the underlying tightness is one of the main reasons it becomes so pronounced. Once the tightness is released, the next step is activation. Japanese posture work emphasizes strengthening the deep cervical flexors and the mid-back muscles, especially the rhomboids and mid-trapezius. These small but important muscles are responsible for holding the head in its natural alignment. When they are weak, the head falls forward and the shoulders collapse inward, which exaggerates the hump. Gentle chin glides, resistance exercises with the hands behind the head, and controlled shoulder blade pinches help wake up these muscles. The goal is not to build bulky muscle, but to restore the natural support system that keeps the spine upright. When these muscles activate correctly, the neck begins to pull back into alignment without strain, and the hump becomes less visible as the posture improves. Another important pillar of Japanese posture correction is spinal lengthening. This involves imagining a gentle upward pull from the top of the head, which helps the vertebrae decompress. When the spine lengthens, pressure around the hump decreases, allowing the tissue there to soften over time. Movements like the wall glide, where you slide your arms up and down against a wall while keeping your back aligned, help open the chest, rotate the shoulders properly, and return the spine to its natural curve. This combination of lengthening and opening is crucial because it removes the collapse that causes the hump in the first place. The towel method is another iconic Japanese technique that works surprisingly fast. Rolling a small towel and placing it horizontally behind the upper back encourages the chest to open and the shoulders to fall back while gently lifting the neck upward. This passive stretch counteracts hours of forward posture with just a minute or two of practice each day. Over time, this creates new muscle memory for proper alignment. Together, these techniques address the neck hump from every angle. They reduce tightness, strengthen the right muscles, and restore healthy posture. By focusing on gentle, intentional movements, the body gradually returns to balance and the hump begins to shrink as alignment improves. Consistency is the true driving force behind fixing a neck hump, and it matters far more than intensity or complicated routines. Many people believe they need to spend hours stretching or doing painful exercises to see results, but the body doesn't respond best to aggressive effort. It responds to repetition, gentle correction, and daily habits that steadily retrain the muscles and spine. When small movements are done consistently, they create long-lasting changes because the nervous system begins to adopt those movements as the new normal. The spine, muscles, fascia, and even breathing patterns start to adjust in subtle ways each day until the posture begins to transform naturally. This is why even 2 or 3 minutes of neck and upper back correction daily can outperform a hard workout done occasionally. The body is always adapting, and it adapts fastest to what you do most often, not what you do hardest. With regular practice, the deep neck stabilizers grow stronger and begin supporting the head automatically, reducing the forward head posture that creates the hump. The muscles of the upper back start engaging more throughout the day, even when you're not thinking about it, because daily repetition teaches them their proper role again. Tight muscles that once locked the spine into a curved position begin to loosen permanently because gentle daily release signals the body that it no longer needs to hold tension there. The fascia around the hump area becomes smoother, more elastic, and less thick over time. Even the tissues that built up to protect the spine start to soften when the pressure that created them reduces consistently. None of this happens overnight, but each day of consistency adds a small layer of improvement that compounds into major change. Daily posture correction also improves the way you breathe, the way your shoulders sit, and the way your chest opens, which directly impacts how relaxed or stressed your muscles feel. When the chest opens and the spine lengthens regularly, the body stops collapsing inward, and the neck doesn't need to compensate by sticking forward. This is why people who practice posture correction consistently often notice not just physical improvements, but also less fatigue, fewer headaches, and a general feeling of lightness. Their bodies aren't fighting gravity all day the way they used to. With regular practice, these new habits become automatic, and the improved alignment starts to hold itself effortlessly. Consistency also matters, because fixing a neck hump is about training the body out of years of unconscious posture habits. Forward head posture doesn't happen in a week. It happens in thousands of small moments throughout life. The only effective way to reverse it is through new small moments, repeated every day. Just a few minutes of shoulder blade activation, neck lengthening, and upper back movement interrupts the pattern that created the hump and replaces it with a healthier pattern. Over time, the spine begins to prefer the new alignment because it feels better, supports breathing better, and reduces muscular strain. This is why people who stay consistent often wake up one day and realize the hump looks smaller, their posture feels different, and their body carries itself in a more upright and youthful way without any conscious effort.